Okay, hello everybody and welcome to this my second video blog. Basically, everybody from that watched my first one made fun of it, probably sarcastic most of it, but anyways, just to annoy them, I think I'm gonna make a second one. Simply because they've been spamming me for it and I just can't stop. As I promised, this one is going to be a bit about the PS3 and Sony and how they started off their marketing campaign for the lovely PS3. If you are a PS3 fanboy, you probably don't want to listen to this because it's not entirely positive. Let's just start off looking at the pure numbers of how they've been doing in this console war, as they call it. Basically, they've been out, I think it was about in the US about a week earlier than the Wii. The Wii has already sold out the Xbox 360, even though the Xbox has been out for about a year longer than the Wii, and PS3 is holding behind with about half as many sold units. So this is kind of pathetic. Now let's look into about why they are so pathetic in their sales numbers. Well, first of all, where are the launch titles? There was Motorstorm, where they first made a beautiful video before they released the PS3 saying, "This is in-game footage. Look at it. It's impressive. It's fantastic. This is way better than the Xbox 360." What did they end up coming out with? Saying a few months later, right before the launch, that it actually wasn't in-game graphics and they kind of just did it to make it look better than it actually was. They did the same thing with Killzone, that they actually then also stepped up a notch, but then again that game hasn't been released yet, so I can't even speak about that. Then they released, they released what's it called? Resistance: Fall of Man about the same time as Gears of War, and Gears of War pretty much also just owned them in the face. It has a much worse multiplayer. You can see Gears of War has gone professional and is in WCG, whereas Resistance: Fall of Man has just kind of been forgotten in the history books. Also, just around the launch of their PS3, they released God of War 2. Now, with all the positive media sarcasm detected about the gaming industry in general, how it's always violent and portrayed as a negative influence to youth, what do the amazing, intelligent, and smart people at Sony do? They show God of War 2 at a conference in England where they have girls body painted in no clothes, sacrificing a goat with a barbarian, showing that basically this is going to be what you're going to be having in God of War 2. Now, God of War 2 isn't a bad game by any standards. It also came out for the PS3 with no improved graphics whatsoever, so it's actually just a PS2 game. And then they also just gave more flood for the media, saying that video games are violent and have adult content and small kids are playing it and they're messing up their minds. So good job, Sony, making everybody think even more so than before that games ruin our youth. You can actually see I am messed up in the head. So yeah, they just surrounded themselves with negative attention right around the launch, which also did that it was doing so pathetically. Now, they did sell a lot of units in the first day, but what happened to all of those? They went on eBay and sold for triple the price to all the fanboys, so that no one could get anything original or get one off the bat, and they had to buy them on eBay and find out that, hey, I bought a console and it's kind of useless because there's no games for it. At least there are no original games, because all the semi-decent games that have come out so far for the PS3, this has of course become a little bit more better later on, because this was kind of scheduled to be out a few weeks ago. For example, all the EA titles have been also put out on the PS3, but they have essentially the exact same gameplay and the exact same graphics as the Xbox 360, except they don't have live support. Yay, good job downtoning a game when you're saying that your console is better than the Xbox 360 and then actually underperforming. Yeah, so let's see. By the way, they have a price point that makes them lose money for making the console. It's about $200 more expensive than the Xbox 360. It has nothing that's better than it. And it's not fully backwards compatible with PS2 games. They first give out a controller which doesn't have a shock system in it. The first controller since shock was invented, and everybody's been whining about it and what they've been forced to do. They've been forced to buy the rights for the shock controller and make a new one now. Now, if you buy a PS3 today, do you get a shock controller with it? No, you have to buy it on the side. Another really good job. Then they figure out, like, oh wait, our PS3 isn't selling as well as it should. What can we do? Oh, we can lower the prices everybody's been whining for. So what do? They lower the price, but it's only actually a fake price cut, because they're only doing it to sell the layer that they have, so they can make a PS3 that's even worse. It has less backwards compatibility, it has less space than the original, and it's gonna cost the same price point, but yeah, in the same price range, but still like lower because it has less features. Another good job making a console that's even worse than your original one. Then there's Blu-ray. Blu-ray is going to take over the world. It's going to be essentially the new big thing. Now, they were on it on the first one on PS1. They were like, yeah, okay, we go from cassettes to like CDs and DVDs. Good move. That back then, because everybody can see a VHS tape and watch a DVD and see the gigantic difference there is in the graphics and the sound. But most people don't have a sound system or a TV that actually makes it relevant to have a Blu-ray CD, because the difference really isn't that big. So like when people are going to put in their first Blu-ray CD, they're going to be like, is this what I paid $700 for to get a console that can play something that has 20 more pixels than a fucking DVD? Waste of my life. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't going to pay off in the long run. This is not saying that the PS3 is a complete failure. I'm just saying that the launch of the PS3 was a complete failure. I'm not any doubt that they're gonna make up for it. I know that in about a year I'm gonna be eating my own words. But I'm just saying, for right now, the PS3 is a piece of shit. My personal opinion, of course, but that's what blogging is for, isn't it? Now, as I said, they've made up for it a bit here lately. I'm going to come to that in the end, because I just got reminded of something else. Now, we all know that Xbox 360 has the wonderful Xbox Live. Of course, you have to pay for it, which sucks, which you don't have to do for the PS3. But then again, what content do you have? They're saying that they're going to get some kind of trophy system into, like, kind of like the the achievement points you get on that on the 360. But what do they have at the moment? They have a faraway idea that's actually been delayed like 6 times, called Home, which is basically kind of a Sims second world kind of thing, which kind of looked like it sucks, and it's just going. I don't see the appeal in it at all, because what do you get from wandering around with some virtual character in a world where you can do your own furniture and stuff, or instead of Xbox 360, where you can actually communicate with your friends and where you can actually show off and like flex to your partner, like, hey, I have more achievement points than you. Whereas in the PS360, you can like, hey, I completed the game and I got this little stupid trophy. Whereas in the other one, they can see you actually completed the game and completed it 100% instead of just completing the campaign. It's stupid, it's lame, and it's nothing near as good as the Xbox 360 one is. Now let's look at other games they've released. They released Lair. That was going to be their big release this year. It was going to be the thing that would save the PS3 and bring it all back. What happened? All reviewers got a hold of it and they had no idea how to play the game. Everybody sat down with their controller. They're like, hey, what the fuck? What 6 axis? What? Nothing's working. Ah! And essentially, it ended up blowing. And everybody gave it like, I think the reviewers gave it about 6 or something out of 10 just because the controls just didn't work at all. So what the Sony say, they're like, oh wait, every reviewer in the entire world is fucked up. We're gonna give you this little package and this little video package that says this is how you're supposed to review the game. The reviewers don't give a shit about how the game is supposed to be playable when you get it in your hand. You shouldn't get some little offset play manual from the website saying, oh wait, you're playing the game wrong. That's just lame, and a lame excuse to blame it on the reviewers that you're making crap games. Now the first only really good game they've managed came out, I think it was like last week, and that's Ratchet & Clank Tides of the Future or something like that, which looks like to be an awesome game. A bit too easy. It's kind of like Bioshock, where you can just spawn wherever you want, you can save wherever you want, and there's really no penalty for dying. But it is essentially a good game. It's just a bit too easy and a bit too kiddie, really. Where the old ones were just original in every way. This is kind of like Halo, just building on a thing that's successful. Now, of course, Metal Gear Solid's coming out soon. That looks like it's going to be awesome. When Final Fantasy catches up and comes out with number 13, that's going to be awesome. So I'm not saying that the future lineup for the PS3 is bad. I'm just saying that what they've proven so far with releasing both Killzone and Motorstorm videos that were showing in-game content that which actually wasn't in-game content, and just generally giving people what they don't want. They're like, you're buying potential with the Blu-ray, and oh, by the way, we have this brilliant little thing inside the thing that makes it totally awesome. It's called the cell processor. But then after they made the whole thing and they found that it couldn't sell, they had to make up the money for the money that they lost doing the thing. So they end up selling the cell processor to the guys that helped them make it. So like, hey, you bought this exclusive thing, but now it's sold to someone else. Retarded. Now I see my timer's about to run out. Been 10 minutes and 15 seconds. Now I have to end it before 10:59. So yeah, that's pretty much my rant about the PS3. I want to say, don't buy a PS3 until you can get it fully backwards compatible with a DualShock controller in hand. If you do have a PS3 out there, buy Skate. It's an awesome game, and you will not regret buying it. One of the only good games that's actually been released for the PS3 so far. This has been my little rant about that. Yeah, I'm sorry if I look away a bit. I'm still a bit of a noob of doing vlogs. So this is going to be Killer Frog, SnigernDK, Andreas Kronstam signing out.